Hello and welcome to Toothless Tesla. First, a shout out to SIXT Rental, the company where I have rented some amazing EVs to run around in Canberra and road trip in Australia. From the image of my rental agreement, I was half expecting a nuclear-powered flying time machine, but instead I ended up with something similarly futuristic and impressive. A Tesla Model 3 that can easily reach 88 miles per hour in a flash. I'm sure Marty McFly would have preferred a Tesla, probably a Roadster or Cybertruck over a DeLorean, don't you think? Anyway, this video is my impression of driving a Tesla Model 3 in Australia's capital city and comparing it to driving EVs in my city of Hong Kong. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel as I will be posting videos of my Australia road trip in a Tesla Model Y. But for this video, it's about the Model 3 and city driving. The process of booking a Tesla was super easy with SIXT Rental. The cost for hiring a Tesla Model 3 was just under 280 Australian dollars for 2 days. SIXT Rental have really upped their game because this time last year, although they were one of the leading companies in offering EVs for hire, they only had the MG ZS EV available that I hired last year. If you're interested to see how I fared last year with the brand new MG ZS EV, please click the link above or in the description below to find out. But for this year, in my opinion, SIXT Rental are now the leading company in offering quality EVs for hire because they offer both the Tesla Model 3 and the Model Y for rent and at very reasonable prices. As a Tesla Model S driver back in Hong Kong, I wanted to see what the Model 3 and the Model Y are like in city driving and also on long road trips. And that's why my next few videos will be about driving the Tesla Model 3 in the city of Canberra, and also the Tesla Model Y on an East Coast road trip. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss those upcoming videos. Thank you. Here are 5 things I immediately liked about the Model 3 compared with my 2018 Model S. Number 1. The Model 3 definitely has better rear view visibility compared to the Model S. Having said that, I would still install a digital rear view mirror dashcam because for me, the digital solution offers the best rear view solution for all drivers. Number 2. I like the blind spot visuals whenever the indicator signals are on. This is a neat feature and I wish Tesla would give an over-the-air update to allow the Model S and X to have this feature too. Number 3. Compared to my 2018 Model S, the responsiveness of the screen in the Model 3 is noticeably quicker. The screen refresh rate is fast and responsive. Number 4. Compared to the 3 stalks that I have in my 2018 Model S, there are only 2 stalks on the Model 3, which keeps things simpler. This means cruise control and autopilot is naturally and intuitively on the drive selector stalk, which is the right side stalk, and there is no need to have a separate cruise control and autopilot stalk like there is in my Model S. Number 5. I really like adjusting the airflow for the air conditioning on the screen of the Model 3. It's a smart and simple system that allows you to visualize and adjust the airflow that comes out from the front air vent. I drove this Tesla Model 3 around Canberra for a couple of days. I started with a full battery, that's 100% state of charge, and did not overuse the Tesla in the 2 days. And unlike rented ICE cars, where the user is required to top up the fuel tank before returning the car, SIXT Rental does not require the customers to return their EVs with 100% full charge. This is a huge convenience and benefit in hiring an EV over an ICE car. So over 2 days, I did not do any charging and simply returned the Tesla with no hassle and no fuss. By the way, if I did need to charge the Tesla, then SIXT Rental provides a free ChargeFox card, which means EV charging at ChargeFox DC fast chargers are all free. The Tesla supercharging network is also free, so in effect, you are getting free fuel or electricity when you hire an EV from SIXT Rental. Compared with my negative experience with renting EVs in England, those companies in the UK tend to restrict the use of their precious EVs by imposing limited mileage for EV rentals. For example, they will provide only 60 miles or 100 kilometers per day on their rental EVs. Here in Australia, there is no maximum mileage imposed on the user, and in theory, I could drive 24/7 in the Tesla, and together with free supercharging, I could maximize the total mileage of my time driving a Tesla and not be charged extra for it. In the UK, this is simply not possible. In addition, the cost of renting cars in the UK is at least 50% more expensive than in Australia. There are limited options and more hassle involved in renting cars in the UK too. If you're interested to learn about my negative experience in renting EVs in the UK, please subscribe and watch out for my upcoming videos about car rentals in the UK. But coming back to Australia, I have nothing but great praise to SIXT Rental in my positive rental experience of booking and driving EVs in Australia. It is super easy to hire an EV, especially Teslas, in Australia, and I would recommend this to anyone who visits Australia. If you're planning to either have a car for a city runaround or are planning a long road trip, just rent an EV from SIXT Rental. Or if you just want to experience driving different EVs, then at the moment, Australia is the place to come and drive and experience different brands of EVs. It's super easy to hire rental EVs in Australia. As you can see, I'm having a blast driving this Model 3 in and around Canberra. But one thing I noticed is that there are not that many EVs here in Australia. I noticed this driving around Canberra and also when I did my longer road trip up the East Coast. There are still very few EVs on the roads in Australia compared to the number of ICE cars on the roads. Let me show you what the EV scene is like in Hong Kong. These are video clips I took one day after I returned to Hong Kong from Australia. I was spotting EVs and Teslas in Hong Kong just like that, left, right and centre. This short clip shows 3 Model Ys, Hong Kong's most popular EV, parked and parking along this one small street. Here in Hong Kong, we have so many EVs and Teslas compared to what I saw in Australia. There are so many Teslas here in Hong Kong that many Tesla owners try to stand out from the crowd. Here are some of the more noticeable Teslas on the streets of Hong Kong. Do you like these standout Teslas? Please share your comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and stay safe.
Commitment that I made to get the students into permanent classrooms as quickly as possible, and that's still the one that's taking priority for me.
Yeah, but obviously if the decision was made to relocate to a different site, yes, that would obviously cause a delay. There's no way of avoiding that. But if the current site is, for whatever reason, not the most appropriate site, then surely you would have to just grin and bear it and put up with the delay, wouldn't you? Have you been convinced by the available evidence that the current site is the best and the most correct site?
Look, what I've seen is that the Education Department did consider the other sites that were alternatives. They ruled one of those out on the basis of it being close to the tip location and then some flood-prone areas, and another one based on the additional work they'd have to do to raise the site for the building. So there's a fair bit of work that's gone into them. It is something I've pushed on because I think there is constraints on the site that's being suggested, but it will be a safe site. It will be a site that being in the centre of town is quite good. Having teenagers and high school kids around the centre of town, it's walking distance from a lot of the communities too. So there's pros and cons. I have expressed my concerns about the process. I have expressed concerns about the site in the past, but it's looking to me from all the discussions I've had with the Minister and the Department that this one remains the site that we can actually deliver a school on.
Yeah, because this is an issue that obviously landed in your lap after the change of government. It's not something where you started the ball rolling in the first place. You just have to deal with things as they are now. But as you've already pointed out, there's still a lot of disagreement in the community about what's the best and most appropriate way to go forward, isn't there?
Look, it's probably the most divisive issue I've ever seen in that community. It's something which has, well, we all know that social media is not the nicest place these days, and we see a lot of that, people who have different views then being pretty nasty about people who don't share the views. So that's disappointing. There is people on both